All right, next topic, headline number 3. This is all about last mile delivery this week. So first, we had Instacart naming a former Facebook VP as its new operations chief. According to Grocery Dive, Instacart named Asha Sharma its new chief operating officer. She's going to, quote, oversee the online company's marketplace services, including its app, logistics, and growth and marketing divisions, end quote. At Facebook, Sharma was also the vice president of product for the company's private communication services and served as vice president for Facebook Messenger and head of social impact. Now, keep all that in mind as we start to talk about this. The other big announcement was Uber acquired the on-demand alcohol delivery company Drizzly. Now, what's Drizzly for those that are unfamiliar? Well, Drizzly, according to Verge, is, quote, effectively an online delivery storefront for existing local liquor stores. The company partners with local sellers and then enlists delivery drivers similar to Uber Eats to handle the delivery. The service is now available in over 1,400 cities across the United States, end quote. A lot of heat happening in this space. And Ann, I know you have a special question this week just for me.
I do. So A&M and I are going to put you on the spot.
A&M and I, that's nice. I like that.
With this question, Chris, I'll let you answer this.
So I'm on the spot. Is that what you're saying?
You're on the spot.
A&M's putting me on the spot.
Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Here we go. Bring it.
AM, which is me.
Oh God.
We're going to put you on the spot. Okay.
Tables are turned, Mr. Walton. I like that.
Oh, they are. These two stories could be perceived as Instacart and Uber taking very different strategies. Instacart hiring a Facebook and Instagram executive to double down on their commercial customer personalization angle versus Uber acquiring Drizzly to gain further scale around delivery, thus achieving better operational leverage and last mile economics.
Okay.
Chris Walton, who do you think has the better strategy here?
Who do I think has the better strategy? Okay, that's a good put you on your spot question here. Like we're going straight into like management consulting theory here. That's a good, man, I don't know. I don't think either one has a better strategy. I just think they're at different places in their strategy is how I would argue that. And so the way I think about it, first, let's set the context. Like I was just reading Domo's 2020 COVID report before I came on the show. And like the fall in traffic has just been massive. And sure, like it's all COVID, but at the end of the day too, consumer expectations have been changing. And we've talked about this a lot on the show. Like being able to get your goods same day or quickly is now a merchandisable event. And people are rushing to this and businesses are going to rush to this. And I think everyone is seeing this. And so I think the combined announcements, again, setting the table here, the combined announcements are just further proof that there are huge dollars at stake here and things are going to continue to consolidate. I feel like we've been talking about the consolidation, for a really long time. Even when Uber was buying Postmates, that was a topic of conversation on this podcast. And so at some point, I think what we're going to see here is the consumer is going to gravitate towards one or two, maybe three options when they want same day delivery. And that's what we've been talking about to me that is scary as hell for retailers. Now, the question, whose strategy is better? I think both of them are going after that. Both of them are doing the same thing. Instacart is just, I think, much further along in that journey. I think the more interesting question to me, though, is who's more likely going to win, right? And that's where I think Instacart still has a leg up because I think Instacart is more in the mind of consumers for how to shop that way, especially for the product categories that you're going to want that way. Uber has Uber's recognition is really around like taxi services. Maybe it's Uber Eats too. So that's an important thing. So it can still, I think, grow into that. But, Instacart is really almost, even though it says it's not, has really almost been operating as a retailer when you think about how you shop its platform, how you interact with it. And then you talk about that announcement with Facebook and how we've talked about there's a lot of connections on social media where CPGs could become agnostic to where people pick up the product. And there's a lot of ways, even though they may never actually be a retailer, they're just a marketplace, that Instacart can have a leg up on a lot of this depending on how they think about it. And it feels like the move they've made with the hire is also a really good one. So I don't know, long story long, and answer that question, I don't think either one's better. I'd have to give Instacart the leg up though in ultimately carving out the same space. What do you guys think though?
Absolutely. Well, first, in the Instacart story, Asha Sharma, we got to pause, Emma, because guess what? She's a U of M grad.
Is she
And
really?
we
Oh my
don't
God,
get a
let's get her on the
chance
show.
ever on the podcast to give a little whoop whoop for a non-Stanford or HBS grad. So, woo!
Wow. That's
Way to go.
big news. All right.
Go,
If anyone
go.
knows, we'll reach out. But if anyone knows, or put us in touch. Let's get her on the show. That'd
Heck
be a great
yeah.
WRC podcast. That's good. Good catch.
I
guess you don't see that often. So when it happens, you guys are like really, ready to pounce on it, huh?
That's hilarious. You choose to live here, so you better start supporting the hometown. Okay. So looking at this, I think one thing for me that especially with the Amazon news and the story we're going to talk about later, I think you look at both of these companies and they're taking the same like Amazon flywheel approach of like target, like work on better customer experience, expand partnerships, bring more retailers on. And I do think that right now, as it stands, Jeff Wells at Grocery Dive said it best in his article, like Instacart has the ace in the hand because they have a larger base. They have a larger customer base for this type of setting. And I think bringing Asha on and really focusing on how do you extend the customer experience even further? What do you do with the community that you have and the partnerships that you can bring on? And she has that expertise from all of her work at Facebook. So I think that, for me, that's really going to propel Instacart right now. But, you look at Uber Eats, that still is a very customer friendly, platform. And the Drizzly acquisition, like you're saying, like it's connecting a lot of the local retailers in what I would argue is like maybe one of the better things that you could be doing delivery for. What people might start, what might really accelerate people using Uber Eats for,
right.
going to Uber Eats over somewhere else because of the conveniences. A lot of people are loyal to their local stores. So if they can get that delivered, they might be more willing to jump platforms.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too. And like, I also think like you'll start to see potentially, I think kind of even further down the line, what's interesting about this question is like, we've talked about it too, like the white label nature of the actual last mile. And do you start to see these companies start to partner in a different way too, where like maybe Uber brings to the table the last mile side of this, or other providers do. And it's, I don't know, I'll say like Instacart powered by this for delivery or whatever. That's kind of silly, but like you get where I'm going with it, is all that can happen behind the back or in the background in a lot of different ways. And there's probably unique partnership opportunities there to get, more value for the drivers in terms of what they can carry and how they can make money. And then also more scale efficiencies in terms of how the business is done too. So